episode may contain strong language, adult themes, and sensitive content. The views expressed are ours alone. Please proceed with your own discretion. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
I'm Meg.
And I'm Teresa.
Welcome to our podcast, Ride or Die from Teens to Prosecco Queens.
This is a safe space for all convos and subjects.
We intend to have fun, make you laugh, and make you think.
No topic is off the table, and our distinctive opinions and experiences will definitely set us apart from all the rest. Please be patient with us, as we are almost 40-year-old women who are learning to podcast.
This will be a roller coaster. Hope you can join us for the ride.
Our reason for starting this podcast is because women of our generation, who in the prime of family and career life sometimes get forgotten in the grand scheme of things, and we have to learn, share, and support one another. Life is a bitch, and man can it be hard, and now we are creating a soundboard for us all.
I bet you're all wondering, if you don't already know, who Teresa and I are and how we know each other.
So we thought it would be fun to do a Q&A so you can get to know us a little bit better. So Megan, tell me, where did you grow up, and tell me about your family life, and how were you raised exactly?
Well, let's see. I'm from northern New Jersey. I lived in Rockaway, where coincidentally I met Teresa in high school. I have a younger brother. I will not disclose my age. My parents divorced when I was 14. But they parented together and we all got along. It was fantastic. And I definitely learned how to manipulate them after they were divorced. So I definitely got my way a lot. What about you, Teresa?
Well, my parents, I think, waited too long to get divorced, but I grew up in the Bronx up until I was almost 15 years old. Then moved out to Rockaway, New Jersey. We had family out here already, and my parents fell in love with it. So that was really a hard transition for me, caused a lot of anxiety moments and stuff for me. But moving to Rockaway, I was able to meet you, which, you know, at the time was a blessing because I didn't realize how hard it could be to be in an area that you didn't know anything about or know anybody. Mm-hmm. I do have obviously two parents. I have a younger sister as well. And yeah, we had I would say a typical life. My mother was extremely strict. And I wouldn't say necessarily on lockdown, but I was on a lot of lockdown until I was a little older and could do more stuff and have a little more freedom myself. So old school, I would say typical Puerto Rican family, but we were more of an American Puerto Rican family in that sense, a little more assimilated from being a couple generations in, I guess you could say. And yeah, I mean, went to Catholic school and just, you know, decided to leave before high school when my parents were able to do so because they were worried about the time and me starting to get into trouble, and they didn't want that for me. And we were blessed to be able to be removed from that situation. What kind of school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Catholic school.
And
it was awful.
Catholic school girls, you know, there's a lot to be said about us, I guess.
There's a lot to unpack there. They're just terrible.
Well, I think it's a lot of that suppression, right? The more we're told that we can't do something, the more we want to do something, and the more we try things.
Oh, yeah. Always try something. Teresa, what were some of your interests when you were younger?
When I was younger, I loved sports. I was a huge basketball head. I loved basketball. My favorite was the Bulls. I think anybody in the 90s probably could completely agree with that. The Bulls.
Who's your favorite player?
Oh, Michael Jordan. By far, number 23 still to this day.
Okay.
But I love me some Grant Hill. I'm not going to lie.
It took me a while to figure out who that was. I know who you're talking about now.
Oh, yeah. Still beautiful to this day. But I love me some Grant Hill. And there was a bunch of other ones. I mean, you know, but there was nothing like the 90s Bulls. But so I loved playing sports. I did cheerleading as well. Bowling.
We
loved
cheerleading?
Bowling. I did do cheerleading for like 2 years. Yes. I was a co-captain. I mean, again, it was my little high school. It was my little, you know, Catholic school cheerleading experience, but we were really good. We did a lot of dancing and stuff, so that was kind of cool. That's New York for you.
What kind of dancing?
A lot of freestyle. We did some freestyle mixes, those kind of things, and it was a lot of fun. It was really good exercise, and and just hanging out with your friends was a lot of fun as well, and just cheering the boys on because while they played their little basketball games was really cool too. We loved bowling. I come from a bowling family, loved that, and music and acting was my huge thing. I was such a music head.
What kind of music did you like?
Everything, hip hop, R&B, rap, pop, salsa. I mean, literally, I'm so eclectic. I can't even continue jazz. I can't even begin to tell you some of the music. But we know that we actually connected because our love of the Backstreet Boys, which I thought was the Backstreet Boys, which was so funny because I thought being in New York, I was like, this is some bubblegum nonsense here, but I loved it, and I didn't know anybody else that loved it too. And then here you were.
The white version of Boys to Men.
Yes, because I loved me some. Oh my god! But I loved New Kids on the Block too at the time.
I love New Kids on the Block.
Yeah,
Mike's my favorite. He's so dreamy.
They still are. They age very well.
They can move like nobody's business.
Yes, and I think about that a lot too. So that that was a lot of the stuff that we did, and we just normal kid stuff, and hanging out in the streets really, and just partying and having good times. So you were raised in kind of a different area than me. So
you mean super white northern New Jersey?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it definitely was, sure. Yes, but not until I moved to Rockaway did I realize that kids were the same regardless. So what did you like to do? What were your interests what did you do when you were younger?
Oh god. I played soccer. I wasn't very good. I mean, I just played because I had nothing else to do. I ran track. It was awful. I joined just so I can get in shape for the summer.
Oh, body issues from day one, people. This is how we all lived.
Still to this day. And then I went to a lot of concerts. Luckily, my dad was great. He would go into the city and wait in line with 100 girls for freaking tickets. Fucking Backstreet Boys.
Yes, it's actually true. Because of Meghan, I saw many concerts that I never would have seen growing up because I begged my parents all the time, and it was like, we're not wasting our money on that. And came out here, and Meghan's dad would drive us all over New Jersey to see 98 Degrees, Backstreet Boys.
Wasn't it at Garden State Plaza that we went?
Garden State Plaza. We went to see 98 Degrees when they first came out. I met them too, and yeah, it was because of Meghan's dad that I was able to have some more boy band adventures. Let's put it that way.
How many boy band adventures did we go on? I don't even know how many times we've seen them. Well,
We've seen, as we got older and we were able to go by ourselves, we've probably seen them about 13 times. And then,
really?
yeah.
We went to the NKOTB BSB tour?
Yeah, we've done a lot of those things. As we got older and I could pay for it myself, it was all over. But that's what it was. It was that connection over something that I didn't even realize someone else had. And that's really the backstory, weirdly enough, that started with
our relationship.
Yeah, our backstory that started with Backstreet, which is pretty interesting, actually. All right, Meg, so now you tell me, do you have an embarrassing moment? It doesn't have to be from childhood, but something that is significant that you remember that is still either funny as hell today or traumatizing today.
I love that you say that because it's not from my childhood. It's definitely from my late 20s. But wait, before I start this story, I need to take a sip of my drink.
And what are we drinking today, actually?
I'm drinking Babe white wine with bubbles. It is my favorite for the summer. It's so delicious. If you like white wine, definitely check it out.
And I'll admit it, I just took my first sip, and that shit goes down pretty smooth.
It's so good. Definitely great in hot weather, but I remember I was probably in my late 20s. This is way before I met my husband now.
Thank God.
just to preface this so he doesn't think I'm cheating on him. I went on a date with this guy. It was pouring rain. I found out that he only watches soccer and listens to podcasts of faculty. I don't know what the hell that is, but whatever. So we went back to his apartment. I had to use the restroom, and then I noticed that the dye had run from my flats. I had on Tory Burch flats, and my feet were freaking black. And I'm in the bathroom panicking. He's like checking on me, like, what the hell is wrong with this girl? Oh my god, it was such an awful experience. So all I remember is trying to get the dye off my feet. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I literally turned on, like, the bath. I'm not even kidding you. My feet were fucking black. Like, I had to spend, the rest of the evening with this guy because we bought a bottle of wine.
Oh, well, if you bought a bottle of wine, you have to.
Yeah. It was awful. It was completely terrible. I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to not this particular story because it's so embarrassing. But all I remember after that, I was so mortified. I remember going home and I'm like, yeah, this will never work. I never want to see this guy ever again. Ever.
How many times did you actually see him, though?
That was like the second time, and then after that, I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work.
Like spending your life watching only soccer and faculty podcasts.
No, it was awful. I'm like, you don't watch regular TV? He's like, no, this is all I like, and I'm like, oh god, this is not gonna work.
Now, one thing I didn't think about, how the hell did you get the ink off your feet?
Oh, it took a couple days. I literally was scrubbing my feet at home with a washcloth. It was awful. I threw those flats out right away. It was bad.
That is so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. I remember because it was like embedded in my toenails. It was disgusting. It was so gross. So Teresa, to have people get to know you better, do you have any embarrassing memories?
Well, I have plenty of those actually. Because I was bullied relentlessly as a child I always say I looked like Petunia Pig. I had a really weird.
Like, what would they say?
Oh my God.
That sounds so awful.
It was awful. I'm still traumatized. People, therapy is a wonderful thing. I'm still traumatized. I mean, oh my God, I got called Shamu. That was the big one about being called a whale. That was all fine and good until my body started to fill out, and then it became a little different. But yeah, I was teased relentlessly, and because of that, there's one particular memory I have that was ridiculous. I got my first little boyfriend. I got dumped, and you can't see me, but I'm using air quotes.
Do you remember his name?
I do. I will not share that though, because anybody I'll tell you later. I'm not going to share that though, not right now, because it's not like I think he's listening, but regardless. But I remember him dumping me, and one of the reasons he quote unquote dumped me is because he was embarrassed. Because all his little friends were making fun of him for liking me, right?
Because you're Shamu.
Because I was Shamu, apparently, like the worst thing in the world.
Kids are awful.
It was terrible. I'm not bitter, obviously, right? But I do remember, though, this one time in that sense, there was a school dance, and I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm not about it. I don't want to go. And my friends kind of convinced me, and I didn't have like dress clothes and stuff like, cool clothes like a lot of people. We just didn't have stuff like that. So I remember putting on a pair of jeans and this white long sleeve turtleneck, basically. This was
I'm not even gonna go there.
Don't, because we could have a whole segment on the turtlenecks that I had, the turtleneck collection. This was not by choice, by the way, for all these listeners out there. That was what was handed to me. So anyway, I put this thing on and I go to the dance. Now we're downstairs in the bathroom, and the bathroom was down in like the cafegimatorium, right? So
I had that because you're in a small Catholic school.
That's it. So downstairs there was a bathroom, a hallway with a bathroom, and in that hallway was a water fountain. And we're in the bathroom with a bunch of the girls, and they're like, oh, we're going to ask so-and-so to ask you to dance. And I'm like, I don't want to dance. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to do this. And they're stressing me out. We're going to get so-and-so to dance with you. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, stop. I don't want to. No. And so one of them runs out to go, and I run out after her to stop her, and I slip on this wet floor from the water fountain, and I land smack really hard into the parquet floor, and I could still hear the smack of my hands hitting the floor.
What were your bruises like?
I did have them on my elbows, actually, from the way that I landed. It was bad. And I get up, they're like, Teresa, oh my God. And I get up, and I have this black black dirt all over my shirt from the people walking through the water.
Oh my gosh.
And I was mortified. And they're still trying to go, oh, we're still going to tell them. And now I'm like a mess. I have this black stuff all over me. I remember going back to the bathroom and just being so upset. And it was literally, to this day, we're talking nearly 30 years later, it's still traumatizing to me because it was just one of those things that was, it just stuck with me forever. It was crazy. It was crazy.
I would have danced with you.
Aw, see?
My hands on your shoulders.
And I would have loved it. You would have made me feel better.
It would have had to be a good song though.
We always had good songs. It was a Catholic school, New York DJ. We always had amazing songs, though.
I remember we had one dance that we had. The end song was always Quad City DJs. Come on and ride it. And then everybody would just, do the fucking train. That's how we close out our school dances.
We always closed us out with a slow dance. I had my first slow dance to Boys to Men. It was either I'll Make Love to You or On Bended Knee.
I'll make love to you.
And I was 11 years old. Catholic school, people.
You gotta keep room for the Holy Spirit in between.
That's it.
Teresa, tell everyone about your life up until now.
Well, I can tell you that I'll actually do like the last couple decades apparently, but in a nutshell.
That encompasses a lot.
Right? In a nutshell, went to college, got my bachelor's in business administration with a minor in hospitality management. I did it online, and I also went to community college here in Jersey. I had my daughter in my 20s, who is now 15 years old. A 15-year-old girl is very hard, but I love my child like crazy. She's an amazing kid. And I know a lot of moms say that, but she really is an amazing kid. Really, really smart.
What makes her amazing?
She's got a good heart. She's like a weird little adult. Like you know what it is? She's an old soul. And you can tell by talking to her that she just expects more out of life than young kids do, really.
Didn't she just get her first real job?
She did. She did get her first real job, and we're really happy about that because that cheese habit of hers is very expensive. So that does help a little. That helps mama a little for sure. I was married when I was in my 20s, and that did not work out. There's a lot to unpack there, and maybe that's for a future episode at some point.
No comment.
Please, my goodness. And then I did meet my current husband and get remarried in my early 30s, and we have a 5, almost 6-year-old son. And he is another old soul. I really believe my kids have been around the block of this earth before. They're very old souls. They're amazing children. And that little boy is absolutely the cutest thing. And I'm not biased just because he's mine. Of course not.
I feel like every parent is biased if their child
are.
is the best child ever.
Yeah. And I'm not saying he's the best in certain areas for sure. We have our little issues with him, but he is fabulous and he's adorable. And that's my baby, my little baby. I do work in insurance. And I've done that for the past a little over a decade. I do have a medical background, but I did that for doing that still over a decade. I work in the IT sector of it. I am a lead in the systems quality assurance department. So I work with testing development and doing stuff like that. And that is definitely not thrilling. It's definitely not where I saw myself.
I don't even know what that is.
And a lot of people don't. And it took me a long time to figure it out, and I'm still learning every day. It's definitely not the forte I thought I'd be in. It wasn't something I looked into. I just fell into it, and I do pretty well in that section. But there's so much more that I want to do with my life, and like you had mentioned at some point with communications, there was something I went to college for too, because I would have loved to. My dream was always to be in the movies or in the radio or doing something that was multimedia-esque, so this doesn't exactly fall in that category, but, it kind of pays the bills. And I guess that's you get medical insurance. I guess it's the point. We live a very simple life. We've been very blessed during this pandemic, to still be able to work and pay our bills the way we can where others couldn't. And that's really in a nutshell, am I happy? Sure. Some days are better than others because that's life, right? but we just have to keep going.
I think everybody, can fall into that category. Because, I mean, how many people really go to school and do what they're, what they not set out to do, but let's say you get your degree and something. But, like, how many people are doing that? I'm sure a lot of people aren't. Because even, for myself, I went to school for communications, and, like, my career trajectory, looks like a bunch of squiggles. And then here I am working in medical communications, which, I like it. It's a facet of what I went to school for, but it pays the bills.
That's it. That's it. I think there's a big misconception now that as soon as you leave school, you're going to get this high-paying job in the exact sector that you got your major
That's
in.
true. I mean, I thought that because that's what people tell you.
That's what they tell you, and that's why
bullshit.
why some of us are saddled with student debt when I probably could have went a different direction. And that's exactly what it is. And I think that's our generation, right?
Oh,
like definitely
100%.
more our generation than
Absolutely.
any of the others. We really kind of got stuck in that mindset. Go to college and get that degree and it's going to pay off. I am still waiting for it to pay off, people.
Yeah. That's what, I mean, my husband always tells me, he's like, you're such a millennial. He's like, you think everything's going to be handed to you. Not that I thought that, but it's like, okay, well, you're told, oh, well, if you do this, you'll be rewarded for it. And
right.
Everybody works hard, but it's just annoying.
It is, and it's something that we all have to kind of come to terms with at some point. So Meg, tell me, what have you been up to in the past, say, 20 years?
I've been drinking Prosecco for the last 5 years.
Well, I don't mean the last 2 years where everybody was drinking more than they should have.
No, but I did the same thing that you did. I went to county college for 2 years and I transferred over to William-Patterson. I got my degree in communications. Thought I'd be a big-time radio DJ. That did not happen. I ended up, entering the regular thrilling work life. I worked at pharma companies. I've worked for investment bankers in Manhattan. I worked for a consumer products company. Currently working for a medical communications company, which I like. It's good. It's work.
Well, what do you do there? What's your title? What do you do there?
I'm an account manager, so I basically, run the account on a day-to-day basis. It's very thrilling.
Well, it sounds it. But do you mean like project management?
Yeah, I do project management, essentially. That's what it is.
You're right. That is definitely not the
one. Project manage at work, project manage my life.
Basically. So tell me about your home life.
Well, I'm married to my husband, Matt. We've been together for maybe 13 years. 13 years,
yes.
I don't know, it's been so long. Married for, I think, 6. Now it's 6 years.
Yeah,
oh my
6
God,
years.
6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
I'm a dog mom. Maybe we'll have a child in the future. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's all good. I can't complain.
I agree, you guys. She has it pretty good. I mean, we all have our ups and downs, like we said before, but,
Yeah, it's nice to just kind of be able to not have to worry about a little human running around. I just have to worry about, getting myself to work and taking the dog out.
Right. Only Matt has to worry about the human running around his house.
Oh, it's true. Yeah. And I'm like the worst wife because I don't cook. I have princess syndrome. So my husband cooks. I mean, I clean, but
yes,
I'm
queen.
useless. I'm completely useless when it comes to cooking. I get kicked out of the kitchen. So if you never want to cook again, just burn shit and you'll never have to cook again. It's fine.
And in his defense, he's a pretty good cook too. I mean, realistically, he enjoys doing it. So let's,
It's like, why would I want to take that away from him since he's so good at it? And also, like, he's admitted that, like, baking and, like, cooking, like, soothes his soul. So I don't want to shit on that parade.
And realistically, again, one of my favorite things is coming here because I'll just get some nice random food here and there just because he likes being in the kitchen. And it's a nice thing, Sometimes at home, we get the regular stuff just because me and my husband are the ones cooking quick, right? None of that gourmet stuff in my house.
No, if you come and eat dinner here on Sundays, we'll have bread and wine and pasta. So...
So more wine.
More wine.
I am about it. So I bet you're all wondering, what do we stand or hope to gain from this podcast?
Free Prosecco.
You know what? That wouldn't be the worst thing, I can guarantee
Please
you.
sponsor us. No, it's great because, you know, I get to hang out with one of my best friends.
Facts.
And, I don't know if people want to hear us talk about random shit. I'm fine with that.
And I agree with that completely. We hope to put our voices out there and let the world know that just because we all have unique experiences in life doesn't mean we're alone in our experiences in life. So much of things that we go through, other people go through as well.
It's true.
And I think that's really important for us to have that kind of voice.
That conversation, even the ones that are hard to have, at least there's a place that we can do it and not give a shit.
Yeah, and have such a good time, because now you'll get to experience just the kind of way that we talk to each other when we're together.
Yeah, and things, we don't take too seriously.
And some we do, and I think that's really important as well, because we're able to be the opposites, which you'll see we are definitely very opposite, but we're also very much alike, and I think that's what makes our relationship work as well.
Yeah, I think it's a good balance between the two.
And that kind of shows that you can have some kind of common balance with damn near anybody, except the exception for us specifically, because we've known each other our whole damn lives. So that helps a little bit.
This is true. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for our first trip into podcasting. Thank you for hanging with us and getting to know us a little bit better.
Please join us for future episodes where we will have fun segments like Turn the Volume Up, where Megan sounds off on her pet peeves for the month.
I cannot wait.
Also, Mean Comments, where we have fun making fun of ourselves. We will have guests to be announced and, of course, get to know more about us, Megan and myself.
We hope we can make you laugh, think, and relate to our experiences.
Follow us on Instagram at Prosecco Queens Podcast, and we would love for you to send us emails with show ideas and your thoughts at proseccoqueenspodcast@gmail.com, all one word.
We'll be posting updates for our next episode where we will discuss everything 80s and 90s nostalgia for a good time. Tell all your friends. Please fasten your seatbelts and hitch a ride with your Prosecco Queens.
Y'all ready for this?